busloads of asylum seekers arriving in New York today, and what officials say is the largest single day of arrival of migrants in the city so far. But set aside the politics for just a moment and imagine you are one of these migrants, bussed thousands of miles from the Texas border to the streets of New York City after a very long journey just to get to the U.S. Alexander Rappaport is with me now. He's the executive director of Masbia Soup Kitchen Network, a Jewish community group that brings relief to all people affected by disaster. Alexander, your group shows up anywhere and everywhere in moments of crisis. I've seen them for years. This is one of those moments. Members of your group met with City Hall to get involved when migrants first started arriving. Then your team, and I want you to kind of give me some details here, just went directly to Walmart to start stocking up. Is that right?
Yes, we got a call that they're expecting a bus early morning, and that was the beginning of last week. And we just rented a truck and went to Walmart and kind of cleaned the shelves because we knew we needed a few hundred pairs, especially when you need to kind of operate a pop-up shoe store where you don't know what sizes you'll need and what kind of other items you'll need. A little bit of food, a little bit of toiletries, but the hottest item is shoes. A lot of people arrive barefoot or with flip-flops, and you want to make sure that their first step on New York City is turning the page and giving them back their humanity. And there's so many good people out there joining us, lots of volunteers and people sponsoring those shoes, so we can able to be a welcoming source, a sharing force. Basically what America is about.
Yeah, and I'm glad you point that out, because for context for people who may not know, your group was founded by descendants of people who arrived in New York Harbor seeking asylum. You yourself are the grandson of Holocaust survivors who made it to America after World War II. Explain why this work is meaningful, so important for you in this moment in time.
I remember my grandparents telling the story of, coming in by boat into New York Harbor, looking up to the Statue of Liberty and what it stood for. It just feels so good to give it now back to other people who are in a similar situation, who are seeking asylum in America, to just be there to help them turn their page. And yes, it's going to be a big rough and tumble kind of coming and finding your place in here, but let's give them a little bit of a shot in the arm. Just make sure they get their basic humanity back, and just to be there to share with them whatever we can. If it's toiletries, if it's shoes, if it's a little bit of food, it's just to be there to do what America stands for.
Can I ask, it's clearly both in New York and Washington, D.C., officials have made clear they're stretched thin by this. They weren't prepared for this. Groups like yours have played an integral role in filling the gap, trying to make people feel welcome, trying to make people comfortable to the degree you can in a very trying moment. What is your sense of what's needed, both in New York and in Washington, obviously on the border as well, for these individuals as they continue to come to the country in record numbers?
We are America. We have enough. We have plenty. We have so many people willing to share. To me, it's a no-brainer. Those who want to share will do and share with them and welcome them. Those who don't want, they won't. So we'll do it. That's the bottom line. There's enough good people in America, ready, willing, and able. We're in the richest country in the world, in the financial capital of the world. We can do it.
Alexander Rappaport, an extremely important group, playing an extremely important role and a very meaningful one at that. Thanks so much for your time, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you.